Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss methods of demand forecasting because I have already discussed some related topics like concept of demand forecasting, process, objective and significance of demand forecasting. So now we are going to discuss methods of demand forecasting. But before discussing methods of demand forecasting, I want to explain the concept of demand forecasting because it is very necessary to know what is demand forecasting. Demand forecasting is an estimate of demand during a specified future period based on a proposed marketing plan and particular uncontrollable and competitive forces. A forecast is a prediction or estimation of future situation. The risk associated with an uncertain future can be minimized. I mean to say a forecast is a prediction or estimation of future situation. The risk associated with an uncertain future can be minimized and overcome if one tries to make reasonable assumptions about the course that the future is likely to take. Forecast can be both physical as well as financial in nature. The more realistic the forecast, the more effective decisions can be taken for tomorrow. Demand forecasting is known as sales forecasting because sales is the function of demand. It means to estimate the demand or sales for a certain future period. Under this technique, efforts are made to estimate the sales of a product or products of an enterprise for a certain future period of time. This forecast may be in terms of quality as well as value. Forecasting is an important aid and it is a effective and efficient planning. It reduces the uncertainty and makes the organization more confident of copying with the external environment. The increasing availability of economic data, the continuous improvement of techniques, and the expanded computational ability provided by the computer have made it possible for firms to forecast their demand and sales with considerable accuracy. So, we can say that demand forecasting is an estimate of demand during a specified future period based on a proposed marketing plan and particular uncontrollable and competitive forces. Demand forecasting is a very popular in industrially advanced countries where demand conditions are always more uncertain than the supply conditions. However, in developing countries, instead of the demand, supply is often the limiting factors. Naturally, in the country like India, supply forecasting seems to be more important than demand forecasting. So, now I am going to discuss methods of demand forecasting. Methods of demand forecasting is a major topic which I am going to cover in this video because I have already discussed, I have already covered some related topics, concept, process, significance. If you want to watch, you can see my previous video which is related in demand forecasting. So I am going to discuss methods of demand forecasting. Okay, so there are variety of methods and techniques for forecasting demand and sales or sales which one are ones to use depends on factors such as the forecast time period, the market's stability or volatility, and the availability of personnel. Personnel is related to employees, workers, personnel with forecasting skills. Some techniques are qualitative while other are highly quantitative. Okay, qualitative while other are highly quantitative. So which forecast method is the best depend on a given situation and the nature of the concerned problem. However, it is important to use the right forecasting technique in order to be more effective. Okay, now we are seeing a figure and it present forecasting techniques, forecasting methods. Okay, so according to this figure, forecasting techniques is two types. First is qualitative techniques and second is quantitative techniques. Qualitative technique is also subdivided experts opinion method and second one is survey method. Survey method is subdivided complete enumeration survey method, sample survey, sales force opinion method, and last one is end use survey method. And second part of forecasting methods is divided into three parts: trend projection method, barometric technique, and econometric techniques. And econometric technique is divided into two parts: regression and simultaneous equation methods. So now I am going to discuss qualitative methods of demand forecasting. Okay, so first important thing, qualitative method is also known as opinion poll method. Okay, important thing, qualitative method is also known as opinion poll method because in qualitative method forecasting is done by obtaining information about the likes and dislikes of consumer. These methods are suited for short term forecasting. Okay, so please remember this point. These methods I mean to say qualitative methods are suited for short term forecasting. Forecast for new method can be only made by qualitative method. I mean to say, if any producer is going to launch a new product, not a existing one. If I mean to say, if someone is going to launch a new product, okay, so only qualitative method is best suited because no past data is available that can be analyzed. Demand for existing product can be forecasted by employing any of these two methods. The qualitative techniques include experts opinion method and survey method. So now I am going to discuss the two part. First is experts opinion and second is survey method. Experts opinion method is also known as Delphi method. Okay, experts opinion method is also known as Delphi method. This method of demand forecasting seeks the views of experts on the likely level of demand in future. Experts are informed person who's known the product very well. They have been dealing with the product or related products for a long time. Thus, they have a rich experience of the behavior of demand. This opinion of experts is used for developing future expectations. If the forecasting is based on the opinion of several experts, then it is known as panel consensus. This kind of forecasting minimizes individual deviation and personal biases. A specialized form of panel opinion is the Delphi method. Instead of going in for direct identification, this method seeks the opinion of a group of experts through mail about the expected level of demand. The responses so rejected are analyzed by an independent body. These opinions are then exchanged among the various experts and their reactions are sought and again analyzed. Okay, exchanged among the various experts and their reactions are sought and again analyzed and after exchange again analyzed. The process is repeated until some sort of unanimity is arrived among all the experts. Thus, this method takes care of the disadvantage of panel consensus where some powerful individual could have influenced the consensus. The method has been successfully used in the area of technological forecasting, like predicting technical changes. Okay, so now I am going to discuss second part of qualitative method is survey method. Survey method, in this method a survey is conducted. Okay, a survey is conducted how? To know the opinion of the buyers, sales force or experts to determine the emerging trend in the market. The survey methods are of following four types. Okay, survey method is also four types. Complete enumeration survey method, sample survey method, third one is sales force opinion survey method, and last one is end use survey method. So first of all I am going to discuss complete enumeration survey method and how can you differ complete enumeration from sample survey, because it is very important to know what is the difference between complete enumeration and sample survey. Okay, so first of all I am going to discuss complete enumeration survey method. Okay, please focus on this point. This method is based on a complete survey. Complete enumeration, that means complete survey of all the consumers. Okay, complete survey of all the consumers for the commodity under consideration. Interviews or questionnaire are used to ask consumers about the quality, about the quantity of the commodity they would like to buy in the forecast period. Okay, please remember this point. I mean to say, if if producer is going to forecast behalf of complete enumeration survey method, so complete survey of all the consumers for the commodity under consideration, and interviews or a questionnaire are used to ask consumers about the quantity of the commodity they would like to buy in the forecast period. All the data is then collected and added up to arrive at the total expected demand for that product. So this is very beneficial method because quite accurate as it survey all the consumers of a product. It is simple to use. It is not affected by personal biases. It is based on collected data, but it is very costly because we covers all the consumers under consideration during a forecast period, and it is time consuming, costly and time consuming, and we can say that it is difficult and practically impossible to survey all the consumers. Okay, exactly. So now I am going to discuss second one, sample survey method. Sample survey method, I mean to say, this is a small form of complete enumeration. Here, instead of surveying all the consumers, I mean to say here, instead of surveying all the consumers of a commodity, only a few consumers are selected, not covering all of the consumer. If we are using consumer sample survey method, so only a few consumers are selected and their views on the probable demand are collected. The sample is considered to be a true representation of the entire population because we are selecting some of the best, and the sample is considered to be a true representation of the entire population. The demand of the sample so ascertained is then magnified to generate the total demand of all the consumers for that commodity in the forecast period. The selection of an opinion, I mean to say, if you are going to select, so the selection of an optimum sample size is crucial to this method. While a small sample would be easily managed and less costly, it will be susceptible to larger sampling errors. The converse is true for large samples. I mean to say, we can say that consumers consumers sample survey method is an important tool, especially for short-term projections. It is simple and doesn't cost much because since only a few consumers are to be approached, the methods work quickly. The risk of error data is reduced. This method gives excellent result if used carefully. Okay, so now I am going to discuss Salesforce opinion survey method. This is the part of survey method. Third part of survey method, Salesforce opinion method. This method is similar to the experts opinion method. The difference here is that instead of external experts, employees of the company who are a part of the sales, not taking external experts, but we are taking the opinion of the employee. I mean to say, employee of the company who are a part of the sales and marketing teams are asked to predict future level of demand in their respective territories for a given period. The method is based on the assumptions that the sales force, which has been selling the product to wholesaler, retailers, consumers over a period of time, is considered to know the product and the demand pattern very well. They, being company employees, will be less likely to introduce the element of bias in their opinion. The individual demand forecasts are discussed with the regional sales manager. The composite of all forecasts then constitutes the demand forecast for the organization. This method is very useful in forecasting demand of new product, especially in industrial marketing. Now we are going to discuss last one, end use survey method. Okay, while the demand for goods used for final consumption can be forecasted using any other method, the end use method focuses on forecasting the demand for intermediary goods. So first question has come on my mind. What is intermediary goods? Note that a commodity that is used for the production of some other finally consumable goods is known as an intermediary goods. Such goods can also be exported or imported besides being used for domestic production of other goods. For example, milk. Why? Why we are saying milk is a intermediary goods? Because milk is a commodity which can be used as an intermediary goods for the production of ice cream, paneer, and other dairy products. In this method, the sale of the product under consideration is projected on the basis of demand survey of the industries using this intermediate product. In other words, demand for the final product is the end use demand of the intermediate product used in the production of this final product. Okay. So, in this next slide, I am going to discuss qualitative method of, I have covered qualitative method, and now I am going to discuss quantitative method of demand forecasting. Okay, so quantitative method is also known as statistical method. Okay, quantitative method, statistical method, both are same for demand forecasting. Because if someone is using quantitative method, that's mean statistical method. These are forecasting techniques that make use of historical quantitative data. A statistical concept is applied to this existing data about the demand for a commodity over the past years in order to generate the predicted demand in the forecast period. Due to this reason, these quantitative techniques are also known as statistical method, whereas qualitative method are suited for short-term forecasting. These methods are best suited for long-term forecasting. So please remember this point. I am conveying the qualitative method is best suited for short-term forecasting. But if a producer is going to forecast behalf of quantitative method, it is best suited, quantitative method is best suited for long-term forecasting. If any producer is going to start a business for long term, so he should use a statistical method because it is best suited for long term forecasting. Okay, so this method cannot be used for forecast of a new product. Okay, as no past data is available. These methods are considered to be superior to qualitative method. For launching new product, qualitative method is best because we are having past data. The element of subjectivity in this method is minimum. Method of estimation is scientific. Estimation is based on the theoretical relation between the dependent and independent variable. Estimates are relatively more reliable because it involves a smaller cost. Okay, so some important quantitative methods are trend projection method, barometric technique, and econometric technique. Okay, so now we will discuss trend projection method, barometric technique, and econometric technique. So first of all, I am going to discuss trend projection method. This technique is based on the assumptions that whatever has been the pattern of demand in the past will continue to hold good in the future also. Thus, historical data can be used to predict the demand for a commodity in the future. In the trend projection method, historical data is collected and fitted into some kind of trend, repetitive behavior pattern. This trend is then extrapolated into the future to get the demand for the forecast period. The trend could be linear or curvilinear or have any other complex shape, and all firm can use its own data of past years regarding its sales in past years. These data are known as time series of sales. A firm can predict sales of its product by fitting trend to the time series of sales. Trend prediction method is a very simple method. The method provides reasonably accurate forecasts. It is quick and inexpensive. And trend projection method is subdivided into three parts. Just a minute. Three parts. First is graphical method. Second one is moving average method. And last one is least square method. So now I will discuss with you graphical method, moving average method and least square method also. Okay, now we come graphical method, part of trend projection method. You see the graph and tabular form. So in the graphical method, the past data will be plotted on a graph, and the identified trend behavior will be extended further in the same pattern to ascertain the demand in the forecast period. You can see because the figure shows the past data in bold line and the forecasted data in dotted line. Okay, and I mean to say graphical method is a very simple method and comparison is easy. Graphs are attractive to see. It is more flexible than that of the rigid mathematical function. Graphical method is most simple techniques to determine the trend. All values of output or sales for different periods are plotted on a graph, and a smooth freehand curve is drawn passing through as many points as possible. The direction of freehand curve upward or downwards shows the trend. We can illustrate this with the help of following table and diagram. You can see the table and graph also. I mean to say, in this figure, you can see a trend line which has been drawn as freehand curve, passing through various points representing actual sales value. The disadvantage of this method is that it may show the trend but cannot measure it. Similarly, smoothing a fluctuation by a freehand curve may leave chances of bias on the part of investigator. So now I will discuss moving average method. And now I want to zoom in this slide for covering best. Okay, I think it is visible now. So I am going to explain the concept of moving average method. Moving average consists of series of arithmetic means calculated from overlapping groups of successive values of a time series. Each moving average is based on values covering a fixed time interval called period of moving average, and it is shown against the central of the period. The composition of item is adjusted successively by replacing the first value of the previously averaged group by the next value below that group. To understand the moving average method, we can illustrate an example. So this is an example which you are seeing in this slide. I have presented, I have showed the data in tabular form and graph also. Okay, so calculate 3-yearly moving average for the following data, because we can find out moving average for 3 years, 5 years and 7 years. But here I have taken the data for 3 years. Calculate 3-yearly moving average for the following data on number of new industrial undertaken in a given industrial park. The moving average has been plotted on a graph in the figure below. In order to fit a trend line to the moving average point on the graph, the freehand method may be used. We have joined the 2 points of moving average to fit a trend line. Okay, so advantage of moving average method, I mean to say it is a very simple method, easy to understand. The general movement of the data is reflected in the moving average. As such, the trend line is based on the data rather than on the statistician choice of mathematical function. In case the period of moving average coincides with that of cyclical fluctuations in the data, this method automatically removes such fluctuations. So now I am going to discuss last one of trend prediction method is least square method. Okay, this technique is more widely used in practice. It is a statistical method used for forecasting with the help of quantitative data. I am repeating again. It is a statistical method used for forecasting with the help of quantitative data. Under this method, a trend line is fitted to the data. This line is known as line of best fit. By extrapolating the trend line for future, we can get the corresponding figures of sales forecast. In this analysis, there is only one independent variable, the time. Okay, this system of forecasting doesn't explain the reason for the changes. It merely states that the data and its changes are a function of time only. The method of least squares may be used to fit a straight line trend or non-linear trend. I want to explain in the mathematical form. I mean to say the straight line or linear trend may be represented by the equation y is equal to a plus bx. Okay, the straight line or linear trend may be represented by equation y is equal to a plus bx, where y is the value of forecast, say the sales or demand, and a is the y intercept and b is the coefficient of x. X is the value of the item measured against time. Okay, so in order to find out the value of a and b, the following two equations are solved. Sigma y is equal to na plus b sigma x, and second equation is sigma xy is equal to a sigma x plus b sigma x square, where n is the total number of observations or period in the series, x represents the period of consideration. These equations are called nominal equation and the method is called least square method. Okay, so now I am going to explain barometric technique. Barometric technique is the second one part of quantitative method. Okay, so I am going to discuss barometric technique. Barometric technique is based on pre-assumption that relationship can exist among various economic time series. For example, industrial production over time and industrial loans by commercial banks. Commercial banks over time may move in same direction. There are three kinds of relationship among economic time series. The barometric technique of forecast was developed to forecast the trend in the overall economic activities. Now I want to tell some important point. Often the barometric method of forecasting is used by the methodologies in weather forecasting. The barometric method of forecasting was first developed in 1920s, but however was abandoned due to its failure to predict the Great Depression in 1930. The barometric technique was revived, reformed and developed further by the National Bureau of Economic Research NBER USA in the late 1930s. So I am going to discuss the three classification of barometric technique. A time series of several indicators is developed to study the future trend. These can be classified as leading series, coincidental series and lagging series. Okay, I will discuss leading series, coincident series and lagging series. First of all, I will discuss leading series. A leading series consists of the data that move ahead of the series being compared. Okay, I mean to say the leading series is comprised of indicators which moves up or down ahead of some other series. The most common example of leading indicators are net business investment index, a new order for durable goods, I mean to say application for the amount of housing loan over time is a leading series for the demand of construction material is the leading series. And second one part of barometric technique is coincidental series. The coincidental series include indicators which moves ups and down simultaneously with the general level of economic activities. Okay, when data in series moves ups and down along with some other series, it is known as coincidental series. For example, a series of data on national income is often coincidental with the series of employment in an economy over short period. Okay, now I am going to discuss lagging series. A series consisting of those indicators which after some time lag follows the change. Like there are lagging series where data moves ups and down behind the series being compared. For example, data on industrial wages over time is a lagging series when compared with series of price index for industrial workers. I want to repeat some important point for discussion because I think you all should understand this concept. If we are using leading series, data that moves ahead of the series being compared. But when we are using coincidental series, data moves ups and down along with some other series. And when a producer is using lagging series, the data ups and down behind the series. Okay, understand? I mean to say leading, the data moves ups and down ahead. Coincidental, data moves ups and down along with series, along with some other series. And when we are using lagging series, data moves ups and down behind the series. Okay, understand? So now I am going to discuss econometric method of forecasting. Okay, so econometric method combine statistical tools with economic theories for forecasting. The forecast made by this method are very reliable than any other method. I mean to say comparison. The forecast made by this method are very reliable than other method. An econometric model consists of two types of methods, namely regression model and simultaneous equations model. This technique forecast demand on the basis of systematic analysis of economic relations by combining economic theory with mathematical and statistical tools. While economic theory is used to identify those variables on which other variables depend, the relationship between the dependent and causal variable is estimated through the mathematical statistical tools. The most commonly used mathematical tool for estimation is the least square method. On the basis of both economic theory and mathematical tools, the equation that best describes the past causal relation is selected. There are two methods used in econometric techniques: regression method, I have also told you, and next is simultaneous equations model. I want to explain in brief. Regression method, I mean to say forecasting problems can often be adequately analyzed with a single equation. Econometric models. This is also called the regression method. Under this method, a relationship is established between Quantity demanded, that's been dependent variable, and independent variables such as income, price of goods, etc. And simultaneously equations method which we are using when the interrelationship between the economic variables become complex. The use of single equation regression method becomes difficult. In such cases, forecasting of demand is done using multiple simultaneous equations, which are generally behavioral equations, mathematical identities, and market based equations. This is a complex statistical methods of forecasting where a complete model is developed explaining the behavior of all the economic variables. This technique uses sophisticated mathematical and statistical tool. Okay, so I have explained all the method of demand forecasting. All the method, I mean to say, there are two methods of demand forecasting, but I have explained the part of both qualitative and quantitative. So I have covered this topic. So thank you all. Okay, so thanks.